In this video, you're going to learn on how to calculate the perimeter of a circle. So imagine you are planning a surprise birthday where you're going to give away a soccer ball as a present, but you're wondering on how much ribbon to buy because you're going to wrap your whole soccer ball with the ribbon and a little bow tie at the top. So the thing is that the outline of the ball or a circle is called circumference. So circumference is basically the outline or the perimeter of the circle. In order for us to know the circumference, we need to know a couple of things: the origin, radius, diameter, and pi. Yum. So the origin is basically the middle or the center of the circle. And the radius is the distance from the origin, which is the center of the circle, to the outline of the circle. The diameter is basically twice the length of the radius of a circle. And lastly, with this, we are able to calculate the circumference using this equation: 2 times radius times this little weird sign. The thing is that we have learned just now that 2 times radius is basically the diameter. But we still need to multiply with the weird sign over here. So what is this little weird sign? Actually, this weird sign is called pi. Pi without an E. So pi is basically a ratio of your circumference to your diameter. But you must know that this pi is going to be used to calculate our circumference. So the pi has a value either 22 out of 7 or 3.14. So the circumference is basically pi, which we will in this case take 3.14, and we're going to multiply the diameter or 2 times the radius. So I'm going to prove to you that this is actually correct. I created a strip of paper that is the circumference of a circle. I took off the scotch tape because I created a circle. I also create another strip of paper to calculate the diameter, and I'm going to place the circumference of the circle on top of the diameter. I'm going to add another diameter and another one. So you can see that the circumference is 3 times the diameter, and we are left with a small part which is 0.14. And this is proof that the circumference of a circle is 3.14 times the diameter. So now we know that the proof of 3.14 times the diameter is actually true to get our circumference or the perimeter of the circle. So now let's do a simple exercise. With the diameter of 100 centimeters, what's the circumference of this circle? So you can take out your paper and pen and you can pause this video to find out what the answer is. Once you are done, you can unpause to see if you got the correct answer. So let's go through the answer. So first of all, we need to know the circumference equation, which is basically the diameter multiplied by pi. So we're going to swap the value of the diameter with our circle over here, which is 100 centimeters. And our pi is 3.14. So we multiply by the number 3.14. So what is 100 centimeters times 3.14? If your answer is 314 centimeters, you are right. And if your answer is A, congratulations, you got 1 mark. Let's do another example. So we have the radius 5 centimeters. What's the circumference of this circle? Pause this video to write down your workings. If you are done, then you can unpause to see if you got the correct answer. So let's go through the answer. So let's find out what is the equation to get our circumference if we only know the radius. So the equation is 2 times radius times pi. So that means we just need to swap the radius with the circle radius over here. So that means we need to swap it and it will become 2 times 5 centimeters times 3.14. And since 2 times 5 is 10, then 10 times 3.14 will be 31.4 centimeters. If your answer is B, you are right. And you have another mark. Congratulations. Now, since we also know that pi is also 22 out of 7, then what will be the answer for this question? What's the circumference of this circle with the diameter 14 centimeters? You can pause this video to do your workings, and once you are done, you can unpause it to see if you got the correct answer. So let's go through the answer. So to get the equation for our circumference, since we know the diameter, so it's diameter times pi. And we will swap out the values with diameter 14 centimeters times 22 out of 7. Since 7 over here, we can just put it as a fraction, and then we have 14 and 7. We can simplify this, so we can cancel out 7, and we can have 14 divided by 7. This will be 2. And since 2 times 22 is 44, if your answer is 44 centimeters, then you are right. So if you answer A, then congratulations, you have an additional mark. So let's move on to the next question. So we have a radius of 21 centimeters. What is the circumference of the circle where pi is equal to 22 out of 7? So you can pause this video to do your working, and once you are done, then you can find out whether your answer is correct. So let's go through the answer. So the equation for the circumference of this circle is, since we know the radius, it is 2 times radius times pi. So radius over here will be 21 centimeters. So we're going to have 2 times 21 times 22 out of 7. Since over here 21 is also a multiple of 7, we can cancel out 7 and we can have 21 divided by 7. This will be 3. So what is 2 times 3 times 22? So 2 times 3 is 6, and 6 times 22 is equal to, you guessed it, 132 centimeters. So if you say the answer is B, then you are right. So congratulations, that is an easy win. So now you know how to calculate circumference with confidence. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want more of this kind of video, subscribe down below and comment down on what other videos you want me to go through next. See you in the next one. Bye bye.